Former NAACP President Ben Jealous wins Dem.Gov nom in Maryland.The second annual Brothers in Bow Ties Scholarship Luncheon took place June 23 at the Hilton Hotel. National Black Police Association Vice President G.Lamar Stewart and the Honorable Hanif Johnson Magiste. Former NAACP President Ben Jealous won the Maryland Democratic nomination for governor on Tuesday, giving him a shot at becoming the state's first black governor and setting up a battle between the progressive candidate and a popular Republican incumbent. Jealous beat Prince George's County Executive Rushern Baker in the crowded primary. In November, Jealous faces Governor Larry Hogan, who hopes to become the first GOP governor re-elected in Maryland since 1954. Hogan was unchallenged for his party's nomination. Jealous said his goal is not just to win an election, but build a movement and lead into law a new agenda. "I know there is skepticism that Larry Hogan can be beaten," Jealous said. "Well, we've got a message for those who think this race is already over. Larry Hogan will lose in November because he is not ready to run against someone who knows how to build a true people-powered grassroots campaign. Today we have come together from all corners of Maryland to send a message to the Republican administration in Annapolis that their time in power is coming to an end," Jealous said. Hogan campaign manager Jim Barnett said Maryland voters will have a clear choice in November, describing the governor as a steady hand who has worked in a bipartisan way. In Ben Jealous, they find a risky blend of ideological extremism and recklessness who would move Maryland in the opposite direction and toward the bitter partisanship and dysfunction that poisons Washington, Barnett said. Dan Lessard, a human resources manager of Kingstown, Maryland, voted for Jealous and said he brings youth and diversity to the campaign. "I like the fact that he was head of the NAACP," a 56-year-old added. Thomas Vail of Easton and his wife, Wanda, both voted for Jealous, but didn't rule out voting for Hogan in November. "Hogan has stood up to the present administration in Washington," said Vail, 68, who retired from the aviation industry. "He has an independent streak. Jealous supports tuition-free college educations and expanding Medicare to all. He advocates raising teacher pay by 29% and funding full-day, universal pre-kindergarten with tax revenue from his proposal to legalize marijuana for recreational use." Jealous won support from leading liberals on the national stage, including Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, who rallied with him in Silver Spring. Sens. Cory Booker of New Jersey and Kamala Harris of California also endorsed him. Comedian Dave Chappelle and Ben Cohen, a co-founder of Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream, made stops in Maryland to appear with him. In 2008, at age 35, Jealous became the youngest person elected to lead the Baltimore-based NAACP, the nation's oldest civil rights organization. After 5 years at the helm, Jealous was credited with improving its finances and donor base. Jealous campaigned on plans to reduce the prison population to save money. One proposal includes ending cash bail. Hogan is popular in the state, where Democrats control many other elected offices. He has kept President Donald Trump at arm's length, not attending the Republican presidential convention in 2016 and writing in his father's name in presidential voting that year. More recently, Hogan responded to the immigrant family separation crisis on the U. border with Mexico by ordering home Maryland's 4 National Guard members deployed to the Southwest. Jealous ran in a diverse primary that included 9 candidates, including 2 all-female tickets. While crowded, the primary, for the most part, was a quiet one, with the candidates agreeing on many issues and focusing criticism on the governor. However, the sudden death of one candidate, Baltimore County Executive Kevin Kamenetz, shook up the race in May. Former NAACP President Ben Jealous won the Maryland Democratic gubernatorial primary Tuesday, defeating 7 other challengers vying for the nomination. Jealous led Prince George's County Executive Rushern Baker 39.6% to 29.7% shortly after Jealous declared victory at about 10:30 p.m. According to the Baltimore Sun, he and Baker had been the front-runners in the race for the better part of 2 months, according to polls. Jealous will face popular Republican incumbent Larry Hogan in the general election on November 6. He acknowledged his tough road ahead in facing Hogan after his victory Tuesday night. "I know there is skepticism that Larry Hogan can be beaten," Jealous wrote in a press release. "Well, we've got a message for those who think this race is already over. Larry Hogan is going to lose in November because he is not ready to run against someone who knows how to build a true people-powered grassroots campaign." Jealous, a civil rights activist with no experience in political office, defeated a crowded Democratic field. Baker, former Michelle Obama policy advisor Krish Vignarajah, State Sen. Rich Madaleno, D. Montgomery, attorney Jim Shea, tech entrepreneur Alec Ross, Baltimore business owner James Jones, and high school political science teacher Ralph Jaffe. Jealous lost out in Prince George's County to Baker, according to unofficial results posted on the county's Board of Elections website. But at the University of Maryland Stamp Student Union polling place, Jealous was the popular choice. He received 25 of the 43 votes cast at Stamp, while Baker garnered 11, according to posted results. Jealous endorsed Bernie Sanders and campaigned for him during the Vermont senator's unsuccessful 2016 presidential campaign. His nomination could signal a progressive swell among Maryland Democrats, who overwhelmingly chose Hillary Clinton over Sanders in the 2016 presidential primary. Jealous has branded himself as a tough-talking progressive in the mold of Sanders, and adopted several of the senator's policy proposals, including Medicare for all and a $15 minimum wage. He's also said he would legalize marijuana, expand mass transit, and fund universal pre-K. Sanders endorsed Jealous last summer and stumped for the former NAACP head this month, calling him one of those leaders who is not going to be nibbling around the edges, but understands we have got to transform the economic and political life of this country, according to the Associated Press. The primary race lacked significant controversy early on, as most of the candidates opted to attack Hogan, rather than go after each other. That changed after the sudden death of Baltimore County Executive Kevin Kamenetz last month, when his running mate Valerie Irvin announced she would run in his stead. In a May radio interview, Irvin accused Jealous of trying to prevent her from joining Kamenetz's ticket in February and getting her fired from her job as policy director for the Working Families Party, a group that endorsed Jealous last year. The Jealous campaign denied the claims. "They've been just up to shenanigans before I even got on the ticket," Irvin told The Sun. In recent weeks, with Jealous and Baker leading the pack, Jealous began attacking the county executive over several scandals in the Prince George's school system under his watch. School board members have accused the county of artificially increasing graduation rates by changing students' grades. An audit released in November found thousands of students' grades were changed shortly before graduation, The Washington Post reported. In the wake of the audit, Baker expressed his support for school system CEO Kevin Maxwell, who later resigned. Additionally, members of the county school board claimed in March some school system staff were given unapproved pay raises. County-level audits found evidence to support those claims, but David Byrd, a Baker campaign consultant, told The Sun that the county should be given credit for discovering the alleged wrongdoing. In 2008, Jealous was elected NAACP president at age 35, the youngest person to ever hold the position. He helped to revitalize the organization as it faced financial problems before stepping down in 2013 to spend more time with his family. In addition to Sanders' endorsement, Jealous received the support of several high-profile political figures, including U.S. Sens. Kamala Harris, D. Calif. and Cory Booker, DNJ, and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. He was also endorsed by the Sun's editorial board and the Maryland State Education Association, the state's largest teachers' union. The Diamondbacks editorial board endorsed Jealous for governor earlier this month. Baker had some notable endorsements of his own, including former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley, U.